What's up, folks? Welcome back. I'm your host, the Hypothetical Patriot. Everything you hear on YouTube is, of course, hypothetical unless it's the word of the Lord. I like to talk about things that aren't talked about in Christianity, things that have either been hidden or things that get glossed over because they're either uncomfortable or people can't make sense of them. It's just my thing. That's just how it is. I've always been that way. So right now we're talking about Mount Hermon. Hermon, however you want to say it, in Israel and Syria. Mount Hermon is where the fall of the angels occurred, where they descended from heaven, and where their hypothetical wings were clipped. You know how I feel about that. But anyway, so it was Mount Hermon. That's where they went against the Lord. That's where they all descended. That's where Genesis 6, 1 through 4 is, about the Nephilim and about the fallen angels, about the sons of God seeing women and how they wanted to mate with women. Mount Hermon, as I say, Mount Hermon, is also where Cern is. Cern is a huge hypothetically, I'm going to describe it here, in my opinion, hypothetically. Cern is an organization using electromagnetic weapons and non-lethal weapons and satellites and sonar and LiDAR and sending out frequencies. They're using a lot of frequencies. They're trying to open up portals, hypothetically portals and wormholes. There's been videos released of Cern doing, this is legit, we've all seen it, Cern doing occult practices on their in their base, on their scientific base, before research occurs, before a specific project occurs. A lot of insidious things going on. They're sending out messages through space. They can, through messing with the ionosphere, through electromagnetic weapons, they can create fake aurora borealises, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. So CERN's on Mount Hermon. The United Nations, the globalist police, hypothetically, as I say them, they're on Mount Hermon. And the Israel Defense is on Mount Hermon, excuse me. So we have the fallen angels descending to Mount Hermon. We have CERN's base where they do occult practices on Mount Hermon. And we have the United Nations on Mount Hermon and also Israel Defense. All on Mount Hermon. Now, why are they trying to conjure up all this negative energy and all this, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Why are they trying to channel through these occult practices and stuff on this mountain? What is so important about this mountain? Well, if you follow the fall, this is all hypothetical. If you follow the fallen angels where they descended onto earth, that would probably be your holy ground. So when they're channeling or trying to blast through the ionosphere or make portals, are they trying to reach the fallen angels? My opinion is 100%, of course. That's where I believe all this technology has come from in the first place. So Mount Hermon, for these people that are against God and rebel against God, just like the fallen angels who descended there, is a very holy place to them. I'm not saying Israel, that's why it's obviously strategically placed there. It's the highest point, I believe, in the area. I'm also not saying not. But the fallen angels were there, CERN is there, and the United Nations are all there. Why is this mountain so important to all these people? I just want to read this real quick to you, and I believe it's because they're channeling these they call them extraterrestrials, but they're actually fallen angels. You know what I believe? That extraterrestrials are just fallen angels and their offspring, the demons from the Rephaim and Nephilim. This is their ground zero. This is like the Vatican for them. This is like the tomb of Jesus for them, the Holy Sepulchre for them. This is where they go and do all their deeds. It's not a coincidence the United Nations, hypothetically, and CERN are all in the same mountains where the fallen angels rebelled against God and put their seed into our gene pool, which then triggered the flood with Noah. That's not a, you know, how'd that happen? So let me just read this real quick. Chapter 6, Genesis. The origins of the Nephilim. When men began to multiply on earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of heaven saw how beautiful the daughters of men were, and so they looked for their wives, as many as they choose. Then the Lord said, My spirit shall not remain in man forever, since he is but flesh. His days shall comprise of 120 years. At that time the Nephilim appeared on earth, as well as later, after the sons of heaven had intercourse with the daughters of man, the seed in our gene pool, who bore them sons. They were the heroes of old, the men of renown. And if you go to check in this Bible, I'll give them credit. It says the sons of heaven literally means the sons of God. So, the fallen angels come down on Mount Hermon, and they corrupt with angels and humans are not the same, never supposed to be intertwined. They corrupt our DNA. And then there's Nephilim. And then from Nephilim, since they can't go to heaven or hell, they become demons. And this just keeps going and going and going. It triggers the flood. And so Mount Hermon, one more time. Mount Hermon, fallen angels descend to corrupt humans and the DNA and the gene pool. And have, in my opinion, ever since through technology, tried to make humans believe that they are God and don't need God, just like they did, to make the critical mistake to bring them down to Ghana or hell. And we have the fallen angels, Cern, and the United Nations all plucking around on top of one of the most infamous mountains in the world. So just thought I'd bring that to your attention. Do some research, read some parts of the Bible. Deuteronomy 32 also, about God allotting the nations to his sons. The sons of God is very important. But anyway, God bless. Jesus is King. God is everything.